Hi, I'm Paul Bowman, CEO at Wexer, the digital fitness specialist who deliver over 25 million fitness experiences per year for our partners worldwide. Welcome to the Wexer podcast, where I'll be speaking to industry experts to bring you insights and advice to support your business journeys. In today's episode, I'm excited about this one. I'll be chatting with Thiago Somera, Infrastructure and Supply Chain Director at Biorhythmo and SmartFit. Thiago, how are you?
Glad to have you here, Paul. Thank you for having me here.
Oh, well, thank you for being on. And look, for all the listeners on the call, we've got to respect the fact that you are bound as an IPO company to, give as factual stuff as possible. So we might not be able to go into all the depth that we or listeners may want. So look, let's go into you personally first, though, Thiago. So give us a little background. I always ask the question of, did fitness find you, or did you find fitness?
No, fitness find me. And actually, I'm one guy. My business was international trade market. So, and I enter in the fitness industry for, let's say, a different side of industry, which is the supply side. So I started work with manufacturers.
Yes.
My first job was with a local Brazilian manufacturer. Keep in mind that my company today is based in South America. We are a Latin America company per se. So I started doing something in a local company, and then I jumped to start the business with Matrix Fitness in South America, being the country manager from Matrix. And Matrix, and the relationship with Matrix and SmartFit brought me inside SmartFit. So that was based the story. So one thing that I usually like to say is, I try to see. I'm always sitting in both sides of the desk, in both chairs, in the supply side and in the operator side.
And what do you feel are the biggest challenges with dealing? Because you've had so much rapid growth, and maybe if you could give me just give the listeners the viewpoint of how much SmartFit's grown, like probably before COVID and then maybe even after COVID, that would be great. But then the challenges with dealing with that growth.
Yeah, listen. The company started in 1996 with a premium operation, which is Biorhythmo. Looking for the international perspective, it's a kind of Equinox Club, high-end ticket, high-end experience. And from 96 until 2009, we were just premium. In the end of 2008, we started to see the high volume, low cost, let's say, trend. And then we realized, hey, this is something that could work in our market in Brazil. So for the first SmartFit was installed in 2009. So if we fast forward to 2023, we're talking about 1,400 clubs in 14 years. That's basically what we did at that time.
Yes, and I don't think a lot of listeners will actually realize how successful you have been, but that comes with huge challenges. What for you personally has been the biggest challenge to
listen, Paul. The local markets, they were not ready for expansion. Looks like we did. So a big portion of my time and a big portion of the relationship with the whole supply chain and operations in general, construction companies and everything, was, let's say, I don't like that word, but you're going to get the point. Teach to these guys how to do the job in a fast period of time, in the right time with the right cost. And some suppliers, they are great suppliers, but they were not able to catch up our expectations, and they just fail during the process. So that was the biggest challenge. But today, I would like to say that the infrastructure that we have with all our supply chain makes a great job building 200 clubs per year. That's basically what we're doing today.
Yeah, and what I think a lot of people listening may be on the verge of looking at IPOs and the rest. Now the IPO market seems to be, somewhat a little bit more buoyant, but a lot more buoyant than what it was, for fitness in COVID times. What as an IPO company, how much does that change the culture? Because, you naturally, every time I spoke to you and Edgar, it was always so focused on data. So naturally, you ran it like an IPO company anyway. So like, has that changed that much or not?
Not really. I think I was expecting a big impact in the end of the day, but we don't feel that. The only thing that, of course, it's more, let's say, complicated and takes more time. It's all the financial reporting to SEC and all the compliance stuff that we need to follow on. In the end of the day, the culture, the operation, how we are, let's say, customer driven, data driven, this doesn't change nothing. And we are not also thinking in the short term. We are not looking for the stock market number and driving our business because of that. This is not the way that we need to do in the end of the day.
Nice. Well, I'm going to pivot direct. I normally don't pivot directly straight into digital as quickly, but I think the success story that you have, which I want you to detail, it has been phenomenal. With over 300,000 subscribers more during those peak times. So maybe just go through the thought pattern right from launch for the digital offering that you supplied to the market.
Yeah. Listen, Paul, we are always, even before COVID, we were always looking for the digital trend. What was happening with Peloton, what was happening with Daily Burn and all the operations in the US or even the USA, Wexer platform and everything.
Sure.
And then we said, hey, we need to be omni-channel. We need to be a house of brands. So we must have a certain presence in the digital environment. And just prior COVID, we started conversation with a small startup in a city 400 miles from my local city. And sorry, Paul, my cough is killing me.
No, you do well.
Sorry. So we started to talk with this startup. They were really tiny at that time, and we had the chance to do the business with these guys just about the time that COVID was hitting. So we had the chance to acquire that company, put that company in our portfolio in the perfect right timing. Digital for us is one way to touch the customer. Digital is one way that we need to be present in customers' lives when we're talking about their fitness journey, So, and the approach that we took at that time was not connect directly our digital product with our physical gyms. Because what we learned in the process, Paul, was so sorry. What we learned was the customer, it's slightly different from the customer that is approaching the gym. Of course, that there are interconnections all the time, but at the same time, the person that is acquiring a CrossFit club is not the same person that is acquiring a low cost, and it's also acquiring a digital product. So this is what we understood that adds value to our operation. We were able to grab a different customer that was not in our radar in the first moment. And then COVID hits. And then everybody was shaken for digital in the end of the day.
Sure. But how because that even that thinking, and you're saying it like it's so simplistic, that thinking about not connecting it to the gym is so rare. Like, I think I've heard yourselves and maybe two other operators think about it, but they haven't executed. You actually executed it because, of course, you've got your fitness directors that want to slice. Everyone wants to be a part of it. Like, would you say that by creating it as a separate company, as a brand of products, that actually led to it being so successful?
I think that this is one component, Paul. How I see that, we had to. the way that a digital product is marketed through the digital channels, it's different from the way that we are marketing a real gym. So the quantity of market that we invest, the quantity of 30-day free trials that we offer, it's a different way to approach customers. Yes. So I think that we took the right decision to keep a separate brand, keep a separate entity inside the company. Of course, that we did small interactions between companies, between brands, to make to get the synergy, to get the cost synergy in terms of broadcast studio and everything. But
because me and you both know that the cost of, I guess, running a separate brand, I guess a lot of people have looked at it before, and some have tried, but the thing is the cost of acquisition versus the lifetime value didn't make sense. So therefore it was, I will go, the customer that I've already earned the right to speak to, I'll upsell and increase yield. Like, how did you overcome that? Did you use the database that you already had from the clubs? Like, did you see a lot of kind of cross-pollination, that they were actually jumping on your platform, but they were a SmartFit member as well? Because you kept it completely separate, right? Like, the members don't actually know that it's even the SmartFit platform.
Correct. Right, the real deal is that the quantity of how can I say that? The quantity of customers that were in a SmartFit club or were in the past in a SmartFit club and was in our digital and was in a certain period of time in our digital platform was not was not a relevant number compared with our whole base. That's one of the proofs that I tell you that it's a different customer. It's a different. It's somewhere or someone different that we are approaching when we are launching a digital platform. Listen, let me put this way. I really don't like to do those examples, but I have to. Let's say that 40-year-old women that just have a newborn with 6 months. This person, these women, in certain situations, she's not super confident with she's her body or with her shape or with her fitness condition. So she feels a little bit intimidated when she's in a real gym. So what she's doing is she's starting her journey back in a digital platform, getting some confidence, and then migrating to the gym. And that's what we did. We were using the platform to continue lifetime from the customer. Of course, the customer is not anymore in the digital platform, but now he's in our clubs. And that's the magic. That's the continuity magic that we are doing on our product.
And many listeners, I hope they've been listening, is that's exactly what the research shows. We published the research essentially that people move through fitness based off their confidence. So, the more confident they are, the more actually they go to physical products. We call them the achiever or the focused member. Whereas the less confident they are, the more engaging with digital. So it's kind of the perfect stepping stone. So for you to be able to see that, and how do you track that? Like, because I think that's a lot where a lot of people feel why they shouldn't go without it being connected to the club and the systems, because it's not trackable. Therefore, we're not tracking that lifetime value.
Yeah, you are able to track the customers based in their, let's say, social security number or something like that. So I'm able to cross database and see who is where. Let me put it in a different way. This, let's say, customer journey. We have a philosophy in the company that says, how can I say this in English? Hold on. Easy to get in, easy to get out.
Right, understand.
Yes. So if you want to do a membership, the process to do the membership needs to be super easy to get in. But if you are not happy with our services, or if you want to do a CrossFit studio, you
Sure.
should be easy. You should be easy to get out. So
Okay.
we don't own we don't own the customer forever. That's not the point.
No.
But we have a boundary connection with those customers that they will come to our clubs, they will stay 1 year, they will leave, they go to a CrossFit for 6 months, and they're gonna return for us.
Okay. Yes,
and that's the point.
Totally. I feel like you need to be hosting this podcast, Thiago, rather than myself. I think it's a beautiful synergy in terms of what you did.
Don't send me an offer, because I'm gonna accept it. Okay.
but how did you? And I guess I imagine a lot of people are thinking and saying, okay, but how did you stop it? Like, how did you stop the two teams, like, not cross-pollinating too much? Because, of course, if I was a marketing director of SmartFit, I'd be going, hang on, there's over 400,000 leads there that I'm going to try and get in. How did you stop that debate and that battle? I feel like you're smiling because there was a lot of debate.
No, that's a funny question, because we have a company culture that connects everybody in the end of the day, but at the same time pushes everybody to compete against each other, but in a healthy way, not in the negative way. So all the fitness directors, they were talking each other, but this doesn't mean that they are competing for the same customer. They were sharing experience, and a valuable experience to build better products. So the process was really, really smooth in the end of the day, to be honest.
And that says a lot to your culture, if I'm honest. I think that, well done. And then I guess the other question is the content. I know you mentioned, you gave the example of the female coming back to fitness in regards to after a baby, and I know you mentioned that I don't know how much you can go into it, but you said I think the pre and postnatal plans that you have were actually one of the most successful. But how did you get the content, the content producers, the content creators, and get them so engaged as they are?
Listen, Paul, there are, let's say, two processes in this discussion. First of all, today, if I'm not wrong, we have around 150 plus different programs. Let's understand one program as one Netflix show. So each program will attack or will be driven by a different persona or for a different avatar. So one will be focused on bodybuilding. The other one will be focused on yoga, newborn women with newborns. We have a program that we do a kind of super glute or whatever it is. So all those programs, they were focused on a specific pain or on a specific problem that we want to attack in that specific time. So this is how we drive the content creation, let's say, from our programs. In the end of the day, fitness activity, it's all about motion. We need to put the bodies in motion. That's the point. And attack the right pinpoint, the right pains for each person. That's what we do in the end of the day.
So it's essentially, we kind of call it like a localized hero approach. So you follow a particular person that's like you in your situation that you're trying to solve or you're trying to inspire to become. Listen,
Paul, one of the days that we engage with our members is, again, I don't like that word, but I'm going to do it. It's micro influencers.
Yes.
We do have people on Instagram, on TikTok, that they are a strong influencer in a certain segment. So those peoples, they will be the persons that we recruit to be the hosts of a specific program and drive attention to our product. So this is one of the ways that we use marketing in our products.
Yeah, and the more and more I've looked into the platform, I see them as kind of little, because they've got their own database. So they're your own little kind of micro marketing team as well, right? Because they're constantly promoting the platform. So you win, they win. Is the thought?
Correct. It's a win-win situation. We are driving attention to our platform at the same way that we
Yes.
are driving dollar money in publicity for those influencers. So it's a
Yes. Yes.
it's a circle of benefits and just good things for everybody in the end of the day.
Nice. And then do you think your split approach by not connecting it to the club has led you to be more successful? Because let's be honest, when COVID hit, all people could do was digital fitness. So digital
Yeah.
fitness boomed to be record highs. Like we look at our numbers, like we see most clubs. Realistically, their subscription levels have come down about 40%. If you take the averages, some are outliers, some are not. So, but 40% seems fair from clubs opening back up into normal operations, and then maybe not producing as much content and stuff as maybe as before. So we know that's the driver of engagement and staying on the platform. So do you think you had an advantage because your numbers didn't drop that as much as that? You're smiling. So do you think that was an advantage because you were treating it as a separate product? You weren't kind of bounded by, hey, the clubs are opening up, so we can't shoot as much content. We're not as limited.
Paul, difficult question to answer. I really don't know. What I can tell you is COVID was let's say a shaking moment inside our company, because take this way, we were for 10 years or so in a super fast growth, in a abundance perspective,
Sure.
Open gyms, making investments. And from a blink of an eye, we said, we are in a starving moment. We are in a moment that we are not doing nothing because we are, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So we took some decisions inside COVID period, of course, in a big pressure, in a big stress moment, because, we had a big problem to solve. But in the end of the day, I really cannot answer your question because I don't have the second scenario to compare and see what's gonna be better. The only thing that I can tell you is the approach that we took just works, and that's why we want to keep that.
Yeah, and to be honest, I hope a lot of listeners are listening to this and think about it, because I guess a lot of people get held back on, and we're working with some of the largest clubs of the world, and we find ourselves from a Wexer team constantly getting railroaded by particular people's opinions. They're not that they're wrong. It's just the fact of, not every business is hard. Every business has this thing that you've got to overcome. Creating it as a separate entity just makes it a lot easier to focus on, right? I always remember talking to club groups that have run high-end clubs and low-cost clubs. A lot of them said you can't have the same management teams. They have to be two different management teams to be able to have success, because it's the way they're different thinking. So kind of that company culture that you have about competition. So I don't know, what's your thoughts on that? I don't know what even my question is, but
no. The big point here, Paul, is if we merge the operations at that time, the chance of fail would be big, because we at that time we had to use the digital platform as one product, a successful product, and at the same time we had to look at SmartFit and save the business and keep the business alive during the pandemic period. If we blended, we were start to do a big confusion in our heads.
Yeah.
So
would you have done that anyway? So COVID didn't happen, you would have still run it that way?
I think so, because when we saw the startup and we did acquisition, we of course that we had some thoughts and discussions about blend and merge products, but I recall that the vast majority of our brainstorms was how we can keep this product a separate product and use the same synergies in a different sales channel. That was the major thought at that time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, look, I feel like I could talk to you forever on this. So, and I think I've uncovered it as much as I possibly can, Thiago.
No problem.
But
No
like
problem.
maybe what's the thoughts on omni-channel in general now? Like, coming into a post-pandemic here, not just only with digital. What are you thinking about in the clubs in terms of, of course, supporting members whenever, wherever, anytime.
Sure. Let's first talk about the clubs.
Yeah.
Market pick it up back. Market's back. Customers are back in our doors with a different, of course, behavior. They are using the gyms in a different way, but the customer base is back. At the same time, our digital products is still strong. So we do have customers that are using both platforms.
Yeah.
Some of those customers are using a lot. It's a small percentage for sure, but lots of customers, they are using the clubs to do fitness, and they're using the platform to do, let's say, meditation or yoga.
Sure. Yeah,
so
totally.
Some products, listen, there's no better place to do a meditation 30-minute session than in your home.
100%.
So people are learning more and more how to blend and how to use the best of each product in the right time.
Yes.
And I do believe that that's gonna be I don't want to say forever, but for a long period of time. People will more and more, now we have, let's say, Apple Vision Pro, and people will will at least try the fitness let's say options in a Apple Vision Pro product. If it's gonna work or not, we don't know, but we will try. The market will try to approach and see if it's gonna work.
Yeah, but look, if you look at the fitness growth, even on Quest, like it's the sedentary meditation, maybe inspirational sleep stories, or that anything that you really don't have to move your head around a lot, it's growing significantly, and you're seeing it on your we're seeing on our platform in terms of, well, I think it makes up 25% of all our overall views now for all of our partners are wellness orientated. So meditation, sleep stories, these type of things. So I think it's a good trend. Right?
Listen, Paul. Let me give you my thoughts on that.
Yes,
a fitness club in general, it's not the best environment for a meditation class. They are loud with pumped music, a lot of people. A lot of movements all around. So people are learning to use the gym in the best that the gym can offer. And they are doing those wellness/mindfulness activity at home in the digital platforms. So we do have a win-win in the end of the day in that equation. That's my point.
Yeah. And look, this is for me, even from the digital side of the thing, there's physical is everything, and I was probably one of the only digital people that said the clubs are going to come back in a big way, because people there's not the reason why you go to a club is the social aspect, is the inspirational aspect, is the all of those factors, but of course you can't take away the convenience factor, or sometimes it's just better use cases, like you're saying, with meditation at home rather than meditation at a gym. So it's just us bring that as a whole package, right?
It's impossible to make a building, a gym that will serve everybody. Let's say Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. My clubs are not ready for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So then there's mindfulness. Then there is martial arts. Then we have Les Mills programs. Then we have Zumba. So when we look for all those activities, it's impossible to build a venue to accommodate all those things. And remember, if you are trying to do everything, in the end of the day, you are doing nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, totally. Sound business advice. I agree. Yep. And I do think fitness operators in general, if you look at the markets, we're getting more. We're staying to what we know is the core competency, and I even see that with digital. Like when we're engaging with partners like 9 Round, like they know their wheelhouse is kickboxing and boxing and the combat side. Let's not own everything else. So let's bring in partners to support us for the whole holistical view, which totally makes sense. And that's what you guys have done before COVID.
I'm not the guy. I'm not the guy in the boxing market, so I don't want to be there just for a reason. I'm not an expert in that business. 9-round guys, they're doing great, But in the low-cost environment, I know that we have our strengths. I know that we have a super product, and that's the point. That's how we need to see that.
No, I like that. So then, look on SmartFit. What do you? Is there what's in the pipeline for SmartFit? I've always said this to you personally and to Edgar about you're always so under the radar, but you're actually one of the most, if not the most, innovative company. So what you can say? What's in the pipeline for SmartFit?
Listen, Paul. There's an inside joke that says the whole market sees us as innovators, but in the end of the day, we look at each other as a really great company for a fast follower. So
nice.
In other words, we are always looking for what's happening in the market, even in small club operations, and say that's the future. And based on that, we will change our operation in a way to make it a better product for our customers. The Smart Fit Club from 2009 doesn't exist for a long time. It's a totally different product, and more will come. We are updating the strength area of our clubs. Our strength zone is almost doubling size compared with our current locations. Cardio, unfortunately, it's losing ground. It's losing.
Which everyone's seeing.
Everybody's doing. So, but the question is, which strength products do we need to install in our clubs?
Sure.
What the customers are using at the end of the day. So this is something that we are rolling out in our clubs. Not easy. 1,400 clubs. Not an easy deploy to do all of that, but our customers will like in the end of the day.
I always worry about sometimes. Do you actually sleep? I must admit to listeners, I can message Thiago at any time, and I'm in Auckland. You're in South America, and you're constantly messaging me. So I don't know when you do sleep, my friend. But moving to like AI and how you think. I know you guys are fast followers, but like how are you? I guess even if you look at AI's adoption in mass. Maybe not in the technical world, but in the mass kind of media and markets and just general people using it in the last, even the 6 months, the growth has been rapid. Like, how do you, I guess maybe 2 questions. How are you embracing it, or how are you tracking it?
Mm-hmm. Let me try to answer the embrace part. We are always looking for technology as a way to achieve something, not as an end. So doing that, the great technology is the technology that our customers are using and they're not feeling that they're using. So some things that
just
we
part
do
of the process, part of the results that they want to achieve, it's just part of it.
Correct. So the customer doesn't need to know that we are using an AI system to run our programs or the workout of the day or something like that. But in the end of the day, he's saying, well, the gym is not that crowded because the software application, the Smart Fit app is driving me for certain machines that are empty in the end of the day, for instance. So I'm really not focusing on technologies that my customer needs to see. I'm focusing on the technologies that will make the whole experience better, no matter where. That's the point.
No, great. I usually get to challenge some people when they start talking about this, but I totally agree. So I'm not even going to challenge you. So okay, look, I really respect your time, and I really appreciate you coming on. So look, how do people find you, Thiago? Is LinkedIn maybe the best port of call, or email?
Looks like you said I don't sleep, so you're gonna find me on LinkedIn, you're gonna find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, everywhere. But LinkedIn is a great way. So I don't know if we can, if you can launch my email on screen later on, but I'm always available for everyone.
Nice. And look, we've known each other for a long time now. Really respect everything that you've done, and the success that SmartFit has gone through is just phenomenal. So congratulations to you, Thiago.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears from the team here. We are trying to do our best for our customers, and we are doing that. We are really proud of the products that we are deploying our clubs in the end of the day. Thank you for that.
Well done. Well, thank you for joining the Wexer podcast, and I'm sure the listeners are going to love this one. Thank you.
Super happy to be here and looking forward for the next one in the future. Thank you, Paul.
Definitely. Thank you.